And apologies, I missed the start of the contributions by Daniel and Una due to another meeting as well, but I very much welcome their contributions, and it's very enlightening, their opening statement and the responses to questions from colleagues earlier. Could I just say, again, it goes back to many times we have discussed the non-implementation of some important aspects of the Good Friday Agreement, and then we see the British government attempt to tear up a very important part of the Stormont House Agreement with their proposal to introduce an amnesty for people who committed heinous crimes, be they members of state forces, paramilitary organisations. It's absolutely deplorable that any government will put forward a suggestion that you will cut off all investigations and ensure that there was no possibility of people getting the truth about who committed those crimes or ever getting justice for their loved ones. And it's an awful concept that a government in a civilised world would introduce such a measure. And over the last few weeks in this House, we had a debate yesterday evening, and the Cathaoirleach and myself and many others, members of the committee, participated in it, dealing with legacy issues and the recent Ombudsman's report as well. 3 weeks prior to that, we had debates in the immediate aftermath of the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in Derry. We had statements as well where we reflected on the need to ensure that legacy issues are dealt with, and that the important work of reconciliation and getting to the truth is never that it has to be prioritised. And we all know that as time goes on, it's going to be more and more difficult to get the truth in regard to some of those heinous crimes and awful events that happened on our island during that era. Could I just say, it's unfortunate that Bill of Rights has not been introduced, and I think you make the point very, very well. If we had the implementation of the Stormont House Agreement, the new decade, new approach, allied to the fundamental implementation of the Good Friday Agreement, the issues that you have amplified so well would not be of concern to us today. Could I just say that you make the point that the Bill of Rights would have prevented regressive actions of the British government. The obvious example being the current British government paper on legacy. You know, that's so true, so it is. And again, it highlights the value of a Bill of Rights and the importance of it. Could I just say that, along with your contributions here today, I was very much informed on the importance of these issues when I met the North West Migrants Forum some months ago. And they gave, I along with another number of other Fianna Fáil colleagues, met the group, and they gave us an excellent presentation in regard to the day-to-day issues. And you know the way, in this Oireachtas, both in plenary session in the Dáil and Shannon and at every committee of this House, we discussed for years the need to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland in the context of Brexit. And, you know, huge effort was made by the political system, you know, by government and opposition at the time, and by all interested parties. We met with various parliamentary groups from other member states of the European Union, met with many committees also from the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and all the time there was a very clear message: the need to avoid a hard border on this island, and to ensure that we could go about our business as we have in recent years. And that day with the North West Migrants Forum, we just talked about how these new proposals by the British, that they were actually going exactly in conflict with the whole area of all of us and successive governments promoting the whole area of more cross-border cooperation in health, education and tourism. And you know, I live in a border community. I was reared in it. I've had the privilege of represented Cavan Monaghan in the Oireachtas for 30 years. And can I say that I have seen at first hand the huge change in how we go about our daily lives in the border counties, as many other colleagues on this committee have witnessed over the years. But we never thought we'd be going back to where people crossing the border, be it for education, accessing health services, or going about social activity, playing sports, going to go for their day out, going to visit a family member, that there could be a hindrance or an obstacle put in their way. It's not acceptable. and it's not what we want in this country, in this day and age. And that day when I met the Northwest Migrants Forum, we just talked that day about you take paediatric cardiac care is provided in Crumlin Children's Hospital for all of our island. We know about the services that are provided at the Gelvin that are so important for Donegal. I have it in my own constituency. Some services, health services, are accessed by people from Cavan Monaghan in hospitals in Northern Ireland, and vice versa. And I think it was 3 weeks ago here, Chairman, we had the Koch, we met officials from the Northern Ireland Health Service and from the HSE here about us intensifying cooperation in the delivery of health services. Well, if we're going to exclude an important part of our community, people who are not Irish or British citizens, but who are contributing to our society, who've integrated and have enhanced our society in every respect, if we're going to have them treated differently, then that's not acceptable to any of us. And I think it's an issue that hasn't been, as MP John Finucane said, hasn't been given the attention that it has, probably in the political system or in the wider public as well. So I just commend you on your work. And could I ask, as Senator McGahan did, with regard to the cases that have been reported to you, have there been generally people going from a port or an airport who have been asked for identity or who have been stopped by members of An Garda Síochána or members of the PSNI? Like, are we aware of cases where maybe a child is attending school on a different side of the border than where they are resident, or people going to access health services or going about their daily business? What I'm thinking about is the people who have been living here for some time, are settled here, working, contributing to society, and one member of the household may be working in this state, another member of the same household might be working in Northern Ireland, vice versa, in regard to the provision and accessing of services. So I just commend Daniel and Una on your work, and again also to take the opportunity once again to commend the work of the Northwest Forum. But I'd like to know if you have come across instances of people who have been living here for some time and who have been asked to produce identification, whatever. And I would see it as reprehensible and actually going against everything that has been fought and literally worked extremely hard by so many people for decades and decades to achieve. And again, it's absolutely going in the opposite direction of what we should see, the benefits that we should see from the Good Friday Agreement, from Stormont House Agreement, and from New Decade, New Approach. Thank you, Achahirlik.
Thank you, Brendan.